Welcome back to Director's Choice. In the midst of the heroic actions, shocking climaxes, and all-around spotlight on the main character, we forget about the lives of characters who bring spice to the story. And recently, we found a dad character whose story development is practically overshadowing the main character's plot. We're talking about Nolan Grayson, aka Omni-Man, Mark Grayson's father from the Image universe of the Invincible comic series, and recently developed TV show.
Flyer right now. You have to focus on staying upright. Focus on going the direction you want to go. Understand?
Yeah.
In this episode of Director's Choice, we're going to introduce you to the puzzle that is Omni-Man, and what better way to get to know him than to see what it would be like to be his best friend.
Good. But try it a little more like this.
Like what?
From the bits that are certain to annoy you to the bones, the bits that are downright comical, and the bits that warm your heart and restore your faith in humanity. Here's everything you need to know about what being best friends with Omni-Man would be like. Let's get right to it.
Dad!
Life with a superhero best friend is not just the fame and popularity, though that's a major perk. Rather, it's spending your nights out partying, binging on new shows, and doing anything but sleeping when you should, because you know that your best friend will get you wherever you need to go in time. So if you were best friends with Omni-Man, you'd be able to watch another episode of Director's Choice without worrying about your alarm.
I'm nothing like my dad. I want to be just like you.
You can skip the bus and get to your destination within 10 minutes of waking up. He'll get you anywhere you need to go, and he'll do it without breaking a sweat. Now, while Omni-Man has no problems helping you avoid the bus by giving you a ride with his superhuman strength and speed, you may have to worry about him throwing you under the bus. Not quite literally, but he can be really manipulative and goal-driven. If a situation is threatening his goals at that present time, or the outcome poses a potential risk to his identity and mission on Earth, Omni-Man might use you as bait, or simply pass off the blame for mischief to you. So if you're waiting in line for tickets at the cinema, and he uses his super speed to trip the person in front of you, don't be surprised if he points at you when the person turns around accusingly. On the brighter side of things, Omni-Man's regular identity on Earth is Nolan Grayson, a successful author, and that's bound to get you into the coolest venues. You could be hanging out with J.K. Rowling or J.K. Simmons, though the latter might be weird since he is the voice actor for Omni-Man. But still, you get the point. Nolan, aka your bestie, and his fame will open some pretty amazing doors for you to network. Let's leave his day job for a moment and go back to his superhero on Earth persona.
I'm not like normal dads. I had him. Your mother and I think it's time you knew the truth. We think you're old enough for me to tell you where I really come from.
Omni-Man is a name that will grant you a free pass to anywhere, in the Image universe at least. And when you're known as the superhero's best friend, the world becomes your oyster immediately. As Omni-Man's best friend, one of the first things you need to understand is the fact that he's not all he claims to be. The man is holding some pretty deep secrets. And there'll definitely be moments when you'd be expecting him to step up for what you think is right, especially for humanity. And he'll go in the direct opposite direction.
If you really want to do what I do, you have to be prepared for anything. No one is going to pull their punches.
That's one of the downers of being best friends with a villainous superhero. You have to deal with both sides of his personality and powers. And for the type of person that Omni-Man is, you can't really change his mind about what he sets his mind to, because come on, even when his son tried to convince him to stay, he left the planet while crying. So just get ready to keep up with the double agent lifestyle that he has going on. Omni-Man's Viltrumite background means that he has super strength, super endurance, and an almost immortal lifespan. He's going to outlive you by a lot. But that has a good side to it. You can have him preserve your legacy over the years, and if you're the type of person who hasn't got up to achieving a lot of the stereotypical milestones, no one has to know in 200 years. Omni-Man can redefine your legacy as the greatest philosopher or artist of our time. It's one of the perks of being best friends with someone that has lived for as long as your last name has been in existence.
Mark, this is good news. We can finally do what we were meant to do, be who we were meant to be.
While it's cool that your best friend, Omni-Man, will be able to transform your life journey into something equivalently heroic, he is going to outlive you. And frankly, that's the worst way to lose a friend. But hey, it's the price to pay for being best friends with the ultimate superhero villain. All you can do is achieve all the goals you can and make all the best memories while you have the time to spend together. You may never be able to get Omni-Man to drop his mission and commitment to the Viltrumite tribe, but one thing he won't ever do is leave you hanging. Sure, he may throw you under the bus from time to time, but he'll come back for you. Once Nolan Grayson accepts something as his responsibility, he stays committed to it entirely. After all, he planned to invade and subdue 2 planets and ended up with sons from both planets, and he didn't leave any of his sons behind without a second glance. Due to his Viltrumite affiliations, Omni-Man may make some ill-advised decisions because his priorities are all over the place. So while you're trying to get him to fly you into the auditorium for the highlight show at a music festival like Coachella, he may prioritize a quick mission for the Viltrumites and leave you hanging for the rest of the evening.
7 superheroes murdered. Strongest man on the planet almost dead.
Above all else, friendship with Omni-Man will be a ride filled with loyalty and utter dedication, as well as some once-in-a-blue-moon emotional outbursts. You never have to second-guess where you stand in his life, except, of course, if you're trying to stand above the Viltrumites, in which case he may kick you to the curb, or maybe not.
Why did you make me do this? You're fighting so you can watch everyone around you die. Think, Mark!
Although Omni-Man introduced and set up an identity for himself as a superhero, he was more of a non-hero and almost a villain. And sadly, you have to deal with that as his best friend. While he can be kind and affectionate, he can also be blunt and disconnected, and you have to deal with both sides. Being best friends with Omni-Man would be, to put it simply, the best and worst thing to ever happen to you. While there are so many great parts that would make it worth it, like always catching your taco before it hits the ground, there are also parts that would give you a permanent migraine, like always having to explain why other superheroes are going missing, and why he doesn't give a call to any of your coworkers that he asks out. It's the best of both worlds, or in this case the 3 worlds of Nolan Grayson, the travel author, Omni-Man, the not-so-noble superhero, and the non-earthly Viltrumite heir. Being best friends with Omni-Man will test your limits, but isn't that how all friendships work? That's all for today. Thank you for joining us on the breakdown of what being best friends with Omni-Man would be like. Take a look at this other recent clip by Director's Choice, and make sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell to get alerts for all our latest videos.